I grew up in Webster County on a small farm, and I graduated from high school in 1958. And my ambition was to hunt and fish the rest of my life. And so I started out that way. I didn't go on to college, and for my first 3 years out of college, I worked at various jobs. And in the spring of 1962, I was looking for a job then. I went to the U.S. Forest Service office in Richwood, and the district ranger was talking to me. He said, "We have jobs coming up here," and he talked to me about my background. I'd taken some correspondence courses in forestry, and I'd gone to forestry camps, and he talked to me for a while, and he looked at me, and he didn't say, "Would you consider college?" He looked at me and said, "You need to go to college and get a degree." So that's what I did. I went to WVU. I transferred up there in 1964, and in 1965 we went into the new forestry building, which is now the old forestry building. And I graduated in December 1966, and my dad was in the logging business. He was logging on National Forest timber on the Marlington District on the head of Williams River. So he said, "Well, go to work with me for a while. Do you hear something?" So I went up there and started working, and I'd been there about a week, and the log scaler came down. His name was Audie Wanless, and Audie said, "Your dad says you have a degree in forestry." I said, "Yes." He said, "How come you're not working for the Forest Service?" And I told him the runaround I was getting from the regional office. He said, "I'll tell you what you do. You go up to Elkins and talk to Mr. Oliver. He's the forest supervisor, and maybe he can help you." I started there in '67. And I worked for a year and 3 months there, and then I was transferred to Petersburg, where I was assistant ranger. And I was there for almost 6 years, and in 1974, you've heard about the clear-cutting controversy in West Virginia. So as a result of that, they stopped timber cutting, period, on the forest about that time. So in '75, they started to eliminate their timber staff, and I was one of them on the block. So they said, "Your next job is up in the Upper Peninsula of Michigan on the Ottawa National Forest." So I went up there in August of '77, and I was up there, or '75, and I was up there till May of '77. And then I was transferred back to Elkins in the supervisor's office, and my responsibilities there were to do timber sale contracts and to train and certify all the timber markers on the forest. So I did that. For about 4 years, I was just putting together contracts and administering contracts, and I held that job until I retired in 1994. 1994, I started the consulting business, and so I started the consulting work, and I didn't know if I'd have any business, and it snowballed from there on. For the next 24 years, I had all the work I needed. I never advertised. I never sent letters to landowners asking for their business. It was all word of mouth. So it's been a tremendous career for me to be able to live in West Virginia and work in hardwoods are second to none in the world right here. And it's been a great career for me, and enjoyed it immensely. I mean, when your peers say you're doing a good job, or your boss comes in and says you're doing a good job, that's even more to you than money, I think. And just about, going into the Hall of Fame, my peers and co-workers that I'd worked with for years nominated me and sent letters in recommending me, and I had a chance to read those letters a couple nights ago, and I was surprised how much they knew about me, and everything they told was true. And I would like to thank those folks for their input, and I'd also like to thank the board of directors for pushing me through to the class of 2021.